Just one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent, and they were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something.
I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, you know, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful that we're able to have this much anticipation.
Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's golden boy, just contradicted his own wife, Blake Lively, in court. The room fell silent as his measured testimony challenged her claims against director Justin Baldoni. This wasn't just a marital spat, it was a public declaration under oath, potentially shattering Lively's career and their public image. With whispers of evidence tampering, his appearance became the explosive moment in a scandal-rocking Tinseltown. The truth and their trust hung precariously.
And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list.
Testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well. And I was one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
The legal battle ignited over the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. Lively and director Justin Baldoni aimed to collaborate on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, but their creative visions clashed, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown that pulled Hollywood's beloved couple into court. This wasn't simple artistic disagreement, it was a fundamental divide, tearing apart a planned production and exposing deep-seated tensions.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles.
Lively championed a modern, stylish approach, blending comedy with high-fashion aesthetics. Baldoni, conversely, insisted on a raw, emotionally grounded take, faithful to the novel's heavier themes. These diverging perspectives weren't dismissed as routine friction for long. As filming progressed, their dispute spiraled into a legal firestorm, illustrating how artistic integrity can be weaponized. Initial whispers rapidly exploded into public spectacle. Tensions exploded when Lively escalated matters, publicly accusing Baldoni of disregarding her input. She painted him as a director obsessed with cheap laughs and glossy visuals, sacrificing the story's emotional core. She filed formal legal action, alleging Baldoni ignored her concerns and refused to steer the film in her envisioned serious direction. This wasn't a minor complaint, it was a direct challenge to his directorial authority, setting a dangerous precedent. Initially, the public largely sided with Blake Lively. Fans rallied behind her, convinced her professionalism and artistic integrity were unshakable. Baldoni, known for deep emotional storytelling, scrambled to defend his choices as headlines were dominated by Lively's lawsuit. Her narrative portrayed her as the victim of a director who betrayed her vision. The court of public opinion appeared to have rendered its verdict, cementing her position as the wronged party. However, Baldoni soon launched a counterattack that stunned Hollywood. He filed a defamation suit, challenging Lively's claims and implying portions of her story were exaggerated or fabricated. Legal experts anticipated a tough battle, but the bombshell came when Baldoni presented indisputable proof contradicting Lively's account. This was no longer he said, she said, it was a dramatic shift towards hard evidence, exposing a darker truth and altering the entire case. Baldoni's indisputable proof included key documents, emails, texts, and production logs that simply didn't align with Lively's narrative. He strongly hinted someone, possibly Lively or her representatives, might have tampered with records to bolster her claims. Altering evidence in a legal case is an incredibly serious accusation, destroying credibility and unraveling an entire career. This raised the stakes, transforming a creative disagreement into a potential scandal. Lively's legal team dismissed Baldoni's claims as desperate distractions, insisting any inconsistencies were minor glitches. Yet the drama intensified when digital forensic analysts for Baldoni discovered undeniable anomalies. Metadata from messages Lively allegedly sent appeared altered or created after the fact. More suspiciously, certain messages referenced events that hadn't yet occurred. This technical evidence was a game changer, pushing the case beyond conflicting statements into irrefutable digital proof. Through this escalating chaos, Ryan Reynolds remained quietly observant, a rare stance for the charming star. Known for his business ventures and humor, he usually stayed out of Lively's professional conflicts. However, as tensions mounted and serious allegations of evidence tampering surfaced, questions arose about his silence. How much longer could he remain neutral while praising Lively's authenticity, knowing what he might have witnessed? His involvement would prove truly groundbreaking. Rumors circulated that Reynolds witnessed interactions and discussions not fully aligning with Lively's claims. Early on, he reportedly had a tense encounter with Baldoni before retreating for insight. The idea of Reynolds testifying against his wife seemed unimaginable, given their admired public persona. But as the legal drama escalated, whispers grew louder, leading to the shocking revelation Reynolds had been summoned to testify, marking an unprecedented turning point, forcing him to choose between loyalty and truth. Critics questioned the relevance of Reynolds' testimony, given he wasn't officially part of the production. However, sources revealed Lively brought her husband into numerous script discussions and creative meetings, hoping his comedic genius would add weight. If Reynolds indeed attended those sessions, his observations could either validate or completely dismantle Lively's claims, making his testimony pivotal. Hollywood watchers were glued to every move, knowing his words could shake careers and redefine the entire narrative. The day Ryan Reynolds walked into the courtroom was pure chaos. News vans lined streets, photographers jostled, flashes erupted. Gone was his carefree charm, replaced by a solemn, focused expression, making it clear this was serious. Inside, an eerie silence fell as he took the stand. Hollywood's golden boy was now at the center of a high-stakes legal showdown involving his wife, Blake Lively, and director Justin Baldoni, a moment etched in Tinseltown history. Under oath, Reynolds clarified his limited role, stressing he was never formally part of the creative team. Yet he confirmed Lively invited him to weigh in on comedic moments during early discussions. He recalled her enthusiasm for lighthearted scenes to balance heavier themes, admitting offering advice. Crucially, he testified both he and Baldoni initially agreed humor could complement the storyline, and at the time, no tension or disregard for Lively's input caught his attention. This directly contradicted Lively's core allegations. A murmur rippled through the courtroom as Reynolds admitted wrestling with the decision to testify. He explained a strong sense of moral responsibility compelled him to speak the truth. Whether this duty stemmed from new revelations about alleged evidence tampering or simply honesty, he refused to elaborate. In that tense courtroom, Reynolds' calm, measured testimony subtly, yet powerfully, contradicted Lively's claims. Every eye was on him, wondering how his perspective would shift the entire legal battle. His integrity was clearly on the line. The courtroom questioned Reynolds about emails Blake supposedly sent to Baldoni, vehemently opposing certain comedic choices in extravagant fashion. Reynolds' answer was measured. He acknowledged seeing a few, but insisted the tone wasn't as hostile as Lively's lawsuit claimed. He even recalled lighthearted exchanges and jokes, suggesting the comedic angle had never been off the table. This testimony struck directly at the heart of Lively's allegations, presenting a vastly different account of early creative discussions. Pressed on irregularities, like references to events that hadn't yet occurred in some emails, Reynolds admitted noticing some email threads seemed out of order. He couldn't confirm if it was organizational error or something more concerning. However, he mentioned something unsettling. Messages Lively had shown him while preparing her complaint didn't match versions in his own inbox. This revelation caused a stir, hinting at potential deliberate alteration and fueling speculation about the digital anomalies. The implication was profound and troubling. During cross-examination, Lively's lawyers asked if Reynolds had ever witnessed Baldoni dismiss or belittle her feedback. Reynolds paused, weighing his words, and confirmed he hadn't seen outright disrespect. He acknowledged professional disagreements, but emphasized such disputes are normal in filmmaking. Next, he addressed questions about private conversations where Lively might have expressed feeling pressured, admitting she occasionally vented about production stress, but clarified she never accused Baldoni of undermining her. This detailed account chipped away at Lively's emotional appeal. The cross-examination ended tensely, with Lively's counsel suggesting Reynolds might have personal motives, distancing himself from scandal or protecting future Disney deals, a studio aligned with Baldoni. Yet Reynolds remained calm, insisting his only goal was to ensure his recollections were accurately on record. His composure under pressure was notable, highlighting a commitment to his version of events. This final, pointed attack underscored the desperation within Lively's legal camp. As proceedings wrapped, reactions ranged from shock to intrigue. Hollywood gossip pounced. Ryan Reynolds had essentially contradicted Blake Lively's claims. Fans struggled to reconcile the couple's glamorous image with Reynolds' testimony, which seemed to support Baldoni's version more than Lively's lawsuit. Justin Baldoni expressed measured relief, acknowledging Reynolds' honesty strengthened his position that comedic elements arose from collaboration, not forced imposition. The narrative was dramatically flipping, leaving Lively's case in serious jeopardy. The media couldn't stop dissecting Disney's involvement. Many speculated the studio, having thrown its full legal weight behind Baldoni, was breathing a sigh of relief. Given Reynolds' long-standing relationship with Disney, it seemed plausible the company appreciated his neutral, or even supportive position toward Baldoni. While some doubted he'd risk his marriage for corporate interests, experts argued the evidence genuinely shifted his perspective, leaving him little choice but to speak the truth, placing moral duty above personal loyalty. In the days following his testimony, rumors about Lively and Reynolds' marriage exploded. Were they living apart? Was this the start of a deeper rift, or had they reached an understanding? Lively remained quiet publicly, but sources revealed she was deeply shaken and disappointed by Reynolds' refusal to fully align with her version of events. If she truly believed Baldoni had overshadowed her, his testimony could feel like a profound betrayal, leaving their personal future as uncertain as her legal battle. The ground beneath them had undeniably become shaky. Lively's legal team plans to present additional communications, arguing that when all evidence is considered, it will prove her role was unfairly minimized. They emphasize Reynolds hadn't seen all private interactions, thus couldn't fully grasp the pressure she faced. They also suggested his statements might have been influenced by outside factors, perhaps Baldoni's team or Disney. Yet, if someone as close as her husband admitted the comedic angle had mutual support, the foundation of her lawsuit could indeed be crumbling. The ultimate outcome remains dangerously uncertain. The courtroom drama transformed a highly anticipated film into more than just a legal battle. It's a cautionary tale. It's a story about the delicate balance between creative collaboration, personal integrity, and the immense pressures of fame. One misstep, one altered email, one testimony from a loved one is capable of unraveling even the most carefully curated public image. Reynolds' testimony stands as a pivotal turning point, forcing us to ask, will this be the final nail in the coffin for Blake Lively's legal claims, or just one piece of a much larger ongoing dispute that reshapes Hollywood forever? The world watches, waiting for the next dramatic twist.